Soheth. This is a character where, for the most part, I actually decided I wanted to have all of my bridge officers use the Romulan Republic uniform. One of her costumes is a Romulan Republic costume. That's like the Admiral outfit. This guy doesn't do costumes. See, yes, that's right. Those special bridge officers I was talking about earlier. Yeah, those are here. Yep, same liberated Borg human engineer. This is the old Riemann bridge officer that you would get from the Romulan story arc. That was a limited time reward that you no longer get from playing that story mission. This is a unique costume that you don't actually have the ability to build in the tailor. Yeah, this is something that they came up with for Riemann NPCs to wear before they made Legacy of Romulus, and they just didn't ever actually make this specific costume have a playable version. Okay, there is a Riemann costume that looks similar to this that is actually usable for players. It's just not exactly the same thing. Let's see here. Kobali, because why not? Okay, so who is ground team on this one? 6 of 9. This is 20 of 25 and 18. So 3 Borg and a Kobali. So let's look at Nisses. Kobali crossbow, because why not? And these again because I use those on a lot of bridge officers. She doesn't actually have any ground devices. That is a flaw that I should rectify immediately. Okay, those are real hypos. Those are also real hypos. I don't know why I have 2 stacks of small hypos. Oh, okay. I just didn't have a reason to have 2 stacks of small hypos. I just did. Fine. Well, okay, that'll do for ground devices for now. I don't really think I want to have her use this dribble, but it does actually give her a regeneration bonus, so that's something. This genetically altered safe tribble would actually be a good option for the winter event in Q's Winter Wonderland because of the fact that when you're doing the fights against the snowmen, passive health regeneration like this is useful. And bonus to maximum hit points is also useful. Those are stats that do matter in Q's Winter Wonderland. Very little else does, but those matter. Anyway, so what are her traits? These are all ground abilities: superior natural immunity, superior mental discipline, teamwork, which, as I mentioned before, this is one of those things that is an actual team buff. Granted, all it does is give you bonus exploit damage, but it's something. Honor the Fallen is a weird one. For each dead teammate, that's not going to happen unless someone screws up. Because as far as I know, this doesn't count dead pets. This only counts players and bridge officers. So this isn't going to do much of anything ever. It only triggers when your team is losing, and when it does trigger, you're probably not going to live very long. However, it's better than nothing. Okay, so 6 of 9, 18, and 20 of 25. 20 of 25 is the Omega Rep Special Bridge Officer. This is a variation of one of the old season 1 Borg costumes. Uses a bunch of costume parts that aren't editable by players. The torso model in this is completely different than the one that players can use. Notice here how it has like bare skin integrated with Borg exoplating in a way that you can't do on player models. Also, it has a weird lumpy shape. It's like, wait a second, skin's not supposed to be in that shape. What is wrong with you? A lot of things, apparently. A lot of things are wrong with this guy. Like, seriously, this leg looks like it's bent backwards. Weird. I do think that the head pieces are actually usable, except for this whole like Borg skin texture. I don't think players have the ability to use this Borg skin texture. It would be nice if you could, but I don't think the devs built it to be recolorable properly. It's probably also like a single full model, not a model that has pieces. I think the head attachments are usable by players, but I don't think any other part of this costume is. That is kind of cool though. It's something unique. Whether you like it or not is a different matter. This guy also has 4 superior ground traits. Borg Deadites, which, as mentioned before, mean he's pretty tough. Superior resiliency, which does give him a small bonus to energy damage resistance. Natural immunities, which is radiation and toxic, but this is actually a pretty hefty resistance. And Borg Neuroblast, because why not? His skills. I went with the Paradox Bomb Chronometric Diffusion combo on this guy. It's just useful. Medical Tricorder, the 23rd century one. Why did I give him this one? I think it was because of the fact that the way that it looks made more sense to me for a Borg than the standard medical tricorder animation does. Uh, yeah, attack and harmonic because, well, I didn't really have a good reason to get rid of it. Honestly, that was my logic there. All right, so who else? We did Nistas. We did 20 of 25. Let's do 18 now. Again, one of the Delta Rising bridge officers. This is the Liberated Borg Science Officer. As mentioned before, peak health, superior Borg nano, superior neuroblast, and efficient. Pretty tough to kill. And yes, resonant tachyon stream because that's just what she comes with. I gave her medical tricorder and got rid of Incite Chaos. I hate Incite Chaos. Seriously. When this got added to the game, I tinkered with it to see what it would do because, well, several of the bridge officers come with it. So the game literally gave it to me. So I decided I was going to see what it would do. And sometimes it causes your bridge officers to shoot each other. I wish I was kidding about that. It has issues with spreading to things that aren't your enemies. Sometimes it spreads to enemies of your actual enemy, thus spreading to bridge officers. Again, photonic decoy because A, she comes with it. B, it's fun. Feign disintegration. She actually came with this one. It's a threat wipe that also gives you run speed and stealth bonus. Now, you really don't need to use this often, and the bridge officers tend to waste it, but it also gives bonus damage when they use it, which they're probably going to spam it as often as they can. So this will probably give them bonus damage relatively often. So weapons. In her case, I gave her the three-piece version of the Undine Counter Command set. Now, one thing to note about this set, the kit frame that you need to complete the set is a mission reward item, and as far as I know, that mission reward item is always going to be the career of your captain. This is a tactical officer, so I would not be able to get a science version of the Counter Command profession specific kit. Only the tactical one, because it gives you a profession specific box and gives you whatever is your profession, and only that one. However, the three piece is actually the good part of this one, because the four piece is when receiving toxic damage, only when receiving toxic damage. Remember, this is the anti Undine set. So, Undine actually do toxic damage. See, because their ranged attacks are either anti proton damage or psionic. Yeah, they do both. Their melee attacks are physical damage attacks that also have a psionic, or not psionic, but toxic dot added to them. And that is the reason why it has toxin inoculant, is to prevent the Undine from inflicting toxic damage on you. Thing is, it kind of sucks. The 4-piece set bonus only has a 25% chance to trigger each time you take toxic damage, and it only gives you 20 damage resistance rating for each time it triggers, which goes up to 3 stacks, so that's 60 toxic damage. But this is only going to happen versus the Undine if you take melee attacks from them repeatedly. Yeah, the 4-piece, I don't care. However, the 3-piece is pretty nice. It's a clicky power as a 3-piece, as the 3-piece effect of a 4-piece set. And it gives you kind of like a secondary shield for a few seconds. Then, when it expires, it does an AoE that does radiation damage to anyone standing near you. Kind of cool. The main issue with this item is, of course, the fact that it has a 3-minute cooldown. Kind of a pain in the ass. It is, however, somewhat useful. Also, biomolecular conduits. This 2-piece gives bonus damage, which is actually pretty good bonus damage. It's like 5% crit and 10% of one of the multiple energy damage types that could possibly be represented by the weapon in the set. Yeah. Originally, this set had a choice between Phaser and Disruptor. Then, when they added Tier 6 versions of Reps, they swapped that so it's Phaser, Disruptor, Polaron, or Plasma. Reduces unstable beams time to detonation by 33%. Reduces unstable beams recharge time by 2 seconds. What's that? Good question. Oh yeah. Also, increasing proc chance by 2% on the thing is actually kind of cool. Biomolecular incubation. Yeah, making this happen more often. Sure, why not? Why this does radiation damage, I'm not entirely sure, but it does. And having a 5% chance to reduce your enemy's damage resistance rating. It's the disruptor version of the weapon, so yeah, that's the disruptor damage proc. I'm genuinely not 100% sure what it's talking about when it says reduce unstable beams time to detonation. It might be the secondary. Oh, yeah, okay. Unstable disruptor beam is the secondary weapon firing mode. That makes sense then. It makes it work faster. That's honestly a pretty good set bonus for a 2-piece, anyways. 3-piece is a really good one. The shield, again, psionic damage resistance rating. Root, hold, knockback, maximum shield capacity, regenerate shields. Gives you a chance to release an energy repulsion wave every time you take energy damage. Well, it has a 2% chance every time you take energy damage. So it's not something that bridge officers have to make decisions about, but again, it's something that doesn't happen often. Only happens once every 2 seconds. It's probably going to happen less than that because of just how low the odds are. Although we do have an effect in one of the set bonuses to increase the odds of it happening. Hey, you know what? Might as well. Okay, so who am I done yet? 6 of 9. Thompson submachine gun, shattering harmonics, personal shield. Notice how this does physical damage. The shattering harmonics personal shield used to actually give you a bonus that increased the damage done by ranged physical. I'm not sure if it still does do that. It used to be that it would increase your ranged physical damage, and that's the reason why she has it. It might still do that, or it might not. But, like, the entire point of this is to increase your melee weapon damage. It doesn't say that it has to be physical melee for this. It just says physical. It might still work the old way. Might not. Don't know. All right. So again, efficient, resilient, superior Borg nanite, superior neuroblast. This character uses a lot of turrets. Like, all of hers are things that summon something that enemies can shoot at, and that can aggro enemies. I do wish that you could give one of the traits that captains get uh, as a result of one of the perks to bridge officers, because one of the captain traits, it's a engineer captain's only personal trait that gives your fabrications regeneration effect just because they exist. I wish I could give that to bridge officers. It would be really good to have on a bridge officer. But I can't change it. Instead, I just have to use something that works well with what I've got. And this is the list I came up with. Mostly turrets. All right. Oh, yeah. What would the doffs on this one? Okay. Security officers are for enhancing one of the tactical captain skills. I was tinkering with Legume Creel on this bridge officer, trying to figure out how the flank attack effect works. Good luck getting it to work. That's all I can say. I'm not sure if it's actually, just poorly designed or if there's some other reason. They're, eh, whatever. Anyways, done with this character.